The station's emergency klaxons wailed as Commander Maya Chen ran through the corridors of Outpost Omega, blood trickling from a cut above her eye. A coolant pipe had ruptured during the hasty evacuation preparations, killing 2 of her engineers. She barely pulled the third to safety before the bulkhead sealed. Final evacuation countdown. 15 minutes, announced Araya, the station eye, its typically smooth voice now fragmented and glitching from battle damage. Through the viewport, Maya watched Earth's distant colonies burning, pinpricks of orange flame against the black. 6 months since Earth itself had fallen. The Collective, a ruthless alliance of 7 alien species, had systematically dismantled humanity's defenses with terrifying precision. "Commander, the crew is aboard the last transport," her XO reported over comms. "We're waiting for you." Maya's fingers hovered over the destruct sequence that would obliterate Outpost Omega's secrets. Her orders were clear. Nothing of value could fall into collective hands. "Status of Prometheus?" she asked, ignoring the XO's statement. "Data purge at 93%. Araya responded. "Full destruction protocols initiated as ordered." Maya closed her eyes briefly. Prometheus, the experimental defense system she had helped develop over the past 3 years, a system that could, theoretically, analyze and redirect energy weapons back at their source, their last hope against the Collective's overwhelming technological advantage. And now she was destroying it, along with all their research data, on the Coalition Council's orders, the same council that had voted 23-4 to accept the Collective's terms of surrender. Complete subjugation, or extinction. Maya's hand moved to the emergency override panel beneath her console. With a quick sequence of commands, she halted the data purge and extracted a crystalline data core, the complete Prometheus schematics and test results. "Commander," Araya queried, detecting the interruption. "Override Charlie 7 Echo." Maya responded, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Selective Data Preservation Protocol." "Override accepted," Araya confirmed. "Warning. Actions contradict Council Directive 1173. "Noted," Maya muttered, slipping the data crystal into her uniform pocket. She activated her comms. "XO, prepare for departure. I'll be at the evacuation point in 5 minutes." She moved swiftly through the corridors, passing the laboratories where her team had worked tirelessly, the recreation areas where they had celebrated small victories, the memorial wall bearing the names of those who hadn't lived to see this day of surrender. At the main reactor control, Maya initiated a modified shutdown sequence, appearing to be a destruct protocol to any cursory scan, but actually placing the station in deep hibernation mode. "Go," she ordered when she reached the evacuation bay. Her XO, Lieutenant Commander Davis, looked relieved to see her. "That's an order, XO." Davis's eyes narrowed slightly. "Maya, what are you doing? Humanity needs a contingency. Now go." Recognition dawned on Davis's face. "You're staying. That's suicide. And treason." "It's hope," Maya countered, pressing the crystal into his hand. "Take this to Admiral Takahashi if I fail. Tell him Prometheus lives." Before Davis could protest further, Maya slammed the evacuation bay door controls, sealing her crew inside the transport. She watched through reinforced glass as understanding, and then respect flashed across her XO's face. He nodded once, sharply, and the transport's engines fired. As the evacuation ships jumped to slip space, Maya accessed the station's damaged systems. She had perhaps 3 days before the Collective Vanguard arrived, expecting to find an abandoned station. Instead, they would find one human, blood-streaked and determined, the last guardian of humanity's final weapon. Maya jerked awake at her workstation, knocking over a cold cup of synthetic coffee. For 72 hours straight, she'd been repurposing the station's damaged systems, converting recreational areas into power relays and medical bays into auxiliary computing nodes. Her hands were burned from rewiring junction boxes, her uniform stiff with sweat and coolant fluid. "Commander, you've been awake for 73 hours and 17 minutes, Araya noted. "Cognitive function is estimated at 62% of optimal capacity." "Noted," Maya mumbled, splashing water on her face from a nearby hydration station. Status of defense grid reconfiguration. 78% complete. Station perimeter sensors restored. Environmental systems stable in sectors 1 through 4. Maya nodded, satisfied with the progress. With minimal power and just one human operator, she'd managed to restore Outpost Omega to partial functionality. The station wouldn't win any battles, but it could monitor, defend itself briefly, and most importantly, run the Prometheus integration protocols. Aria's voice suddenly shifted tone. "Commander, I've detected an encrypted transmission penetrating our communication blackout." Maya scrambled to the comm station, fully alert now. The message origin point was bouncing between dead satellites, a coalition military trick. Source: unknown. Signal characteristics match coalition intelligence protocols, alpha-level encryption. Put it through. Admiral Takahashi's face appeared, gaunt and shadowed. Her mentor looked decades older than when she'd seen him 3 months ago. "Maya, if you're alive and receiving this, what you're doing is technically treason." His voice dropped. "And the bravest damn thing I've ever seen. Some battles must be fought even when victory seems impossible. You're not alone in believing this." Maya leaned forward, heart racing. "You have people still fighting." Takahashi nodded grimly. "Coalition intelligence is compromised, but some of us maintained independent networks. We're scattered. Luna base is gone, Mars garrison surrendered, but pockets remain. Europa station is still dark." He transmitted coordinates to a hidden data cache and the complete Prometheus schematics, information previously classified beyond Maya's clearance level. "This is everything," Takahashi explained. "The Prometheus technology is more powerful than even you were told. It doesn't just deflect energy weapons. Theoretically, it can create a cascading feedback loop that amplifies and redirects attacks." "Why wasn't I informed?" Maya demanded. "Politics." Takahashi's expression hardened. "Some on the council feared it would make us too powerful. Others were already negotiating surrender terms before Earth fell." The transmission began breaking up, interference patterns disrupting the signal. "Resistance network forming. Rendezvous point. Delta 7. The Admiral's image fragmented. Trust your instincts, Maya. Humanity needs." The signal died completely as proximity alarms blared throughout the station. "Collective scout ship detected," Araya announced. "Arrival estimated in 47 hours, 12 minutes. Maya's fingers flew across the console, initiating the Prometheus integration with the new schematics. The complete system architecture revealed capabilities she never imagined. The potential to not only defend the station, but to turn the collective's weapons against their entire fleet. Deep in the code, however, a string of anomalous commands caught her eye. She traced them through the system and felt her blood run cold. Deliberate sabotage, elegant, nearly undetectable. Someone had ensured Prometheus would catastrophically fail if activated at full power. Maya slammed her fist on the console. "Who?" she whispered. "Who would doom their own species?" She scrolled through the code signature, searching for clues to the saboteur's identity. When she found it, the betrayal stung worse than any physical wound. Dr. Elias Reeves, her former second-in-command, her friend, the brilliant physicist who had embraced her before evacuation, whispering, "I'm sorry." Now she understood what he'd meant. With less than 2 days before the collective scout ship arrived, Maya faced a nearly impossible task. Repair sabotaged code she only partially understood, prepare defenses against an overwhelming enemy, and somehow turn a personal act of defiance into humanity's second chance. Maya's heart pounded as the collective scout ship's docking clamps engaged with a metallic shriek that reverberated through the station. On the security feed, she watched the Tairashi boarding party, 6 warriors with chidnous exoskeletons, like prehistoric insects grown to human size. Their weapons pulsed with the same energy signature that had devastated Earth's defenses. She hadn't slept in nearly 30 hours, subsisting on stimulant patches and emergency rations as she prepared her trap. The sabotage in Prometheus had proven more extensive than she'd initially thought. Reeves had been thorough. While she couldn't restore the system fully, she'd managed to implement a scaled-down version that might work for localized defense. "Arai. Initiate welcome protocol," Maya ordered, her voice hoarse. The station's lights dimmed to a blood-red emergency setting, then brightened to full illumination along a single corridor, a path leading the Tyrashi directly to the conference room. Protocol initiated. Araya confirmed. Security partitions active. Containment systems on standby. The aliens moved with predatory grace, mandibles clicking in their incomprehensible language. Their leader, bearing ornate markings on his carapace, paused at the conference room entrance, compound eyes reflecting the holodable's glow. The message displayed was simple. Outpost Omega remains sovereign human territory. Your presence is a violation of interstellar law. Withdraw immediately. The Tyrashi commander, Vextar, according to the insignia Maya had studied, let out a sound like breaking glass. Laughter, perhaps. "Secure this station," he ordered his warriors. "Find the human responsible." Maya smiled grimly, activating her carefully laid trap. As each warrior ventured down separate corridors, emergency bulkheads slammed down, isolating them. In one section, gravity reversed, sending a warrior floating helplessly. In another, holographic duplicates of Maya appeared and disappeared, leading a frustrated Tyrashi into a storage bay that sealed behind him. Within minutes, 5 warriors were contained, leaving only Commander Vextar in the conference room. "Your warriors are unharmed but contained," Maya's voice echoed through the station's communication system. "I could have killed them 6 different ways by now." Vextar's head snapped up toward the nearest camera. "Show yourself, human." "Why?" "So you can report my appearance to your superiors. Catalog another human specimen before extinction." The Tyrashi clicked his mandibles slowly. "Humans do not negotiate anymore. Your coalition surrendered that right. I don't represent the coalition." "Then you have no authority." "I have a station full of your warriors," Maya countered. "And experimental weapons technology your superiors would very much like to acquire intact. I'd say that gives me all the authority I need." Vextar studied the camera with unnerving stillness. "The collective has catalogued 8 trillion sentient beings across 17 star systems. You are alone, outnumbered, and doomed. Yet you resist. Explain." Maya considered her response carefully. This wasn't just bravado or a delaying tactic. Understanding the collective, finding its weaknesses, might be humanity's only hope. "That's the thing your collective never understood about humans," she replied. "We don't measure strength by numbers." "A species of individuals," Vextar noted. "Inefficient, chaotic, resilient," Maya corrected. "Adaptive." She took a deep breath and made her decision. Stepping out from a hidden doorway into the conference room, she stood face to face with the alien commander. Her hand didn't tremble despite her exhaustion. The salvaged collective energy pistol aimed steadily at Vextar's central nerve cluster, one of the few vulnerable points in Tyrashi anatomy. Vextar's compound eyes widened at the sight of her, taking in her blood-streaked face, the determination in her stance. "I never surrendered anything," she stated, meeting his alien gaze. "And I think you'll find I'm not like the humans you've encountered before." The Tyrashi's mandibles clicked softly. "No," he agreed after a moment of evaluation. "I don't believe you are." "Dr. Elias Reeves," Maya snarled, throwing the holographic evidence at the wall where it expanded to show complex code patterns. She had secured the Tyrashi warriors in separate containment fields, keeping Vextar under guard in the command center, while she frantically worked to identify the full extent of the sabotage. The coded signature was unmistakable, her former second-in-command, a brilliant physicist, and the only other person with deep access to Prometheus. The man she'd trusted most. The man who'd embraced her before evacuation, whispering, "I'm sorry." A hidden message buried in the sabotage code read, "Prometheus will enslave us as surely as the collective. Some prices are too high, even for survival." Ethical imperatives, Maya muttered bitterly. Always the idealist. Reeves had been the conscience of their research team, constantly questioning the ethical implications of their work. He'd argued that Prometheus, if weaponized, could make humanity the new collective, conquerors rather than the conquered. Maya hurled a datapad across the room, shattering it against the bulkhead. "You self-righteous bastard. Your anger is directed at another human." Vextar asked from where he stood, mandibles twitching with curiosity. Despite being technically a prisoner, the Tyrashi commander observed her with analytical interest rather than hostility. "My second-in-command sabotaged our defense system," Maya explained, too exhausted to maintain professional distance. "He believed it was too powerful, that it would corrupt us." Perhaps he was correct. Vextar suggested, "Power transforms. It also preserves," Maya countered, wiping sweat from her brow. "But none of that matters if I can't fix what he broke." "Commander," ARIA interrupted, "long-range sensors detect 3 collective warships changing course. Estimated arrival: 6 days, 7 hours. Maya's stomach dropped. The main collective fleet was responding to the scout ship's failure to report back. "Can your system be repaired?" Vextar asked. "Why do you care?" "Curiosity. Your defiance is unusual." Maya studied the alien commander. The Tyrashi were the dominant species in the collective. Natural predators evolved into conquerors, yet this one seemed almost philosophical. "Partial repair is possible," she admitted, "but without Reeves' encryption keys, Prometheus will never reach full capacity. So you face certain death. I face uncertain survival," Maya corrected. "There's a difference." On the security feed, she saw the other Tyrashi warriors, unnervingly still in their containment areas. Unlike human prisoners, they didn't rage against their confinement. They simply waited, conserving energy. "Your warriors are remarkably disciplined," she noted. "They are extensions of the collective will," Vextar replied. "As am I. Yet you speak as an individual. Command requires perspective." Maya turned back to the code, fingers flying across the interface as she attempted another workaround for Reeves' sabotage. After several minutes of silence, Vextar spoke again. "You are alone, Commander Chen. Why fight when your own kind has abandoned this cause?" Maya's hand stilled over the keyboard. "Because surrender isn't in my programming." The alien tilted his head. "The collective does not understand humans. Your species fights beyond reason, then surrenders when you still possess weapons like this station. It is illogical. Perhaps we're more complex than you realize." "Perhaps," Vextar agreed, mandibles clicking softly. "But complexity will not save you when the warships arrive." Maya met his compound eyes, the alien reflection of her own determination staring back at her. "Don't bet on it." The screen suddenly flashed with alert notifications, and Aria's voice took on an urgent tone. "Commander, I've detected an unauthorized transmission originating from the Tyrashi vessel. Signal characteristics do not match known Tyrashi communication patterns." Maya and Vextar looked at each other in surprise. Someone else was on the scout ship, someone who definitely wasn't Tyrashi. "Impossible," Vextar hissed, genuine confusion in his voice. "My vessel was secure." "Apparently not," Maya replied, hurrying to the communications console. "Let's see who your stowaway is." Maya jolted awake at her workstation, hand automatically reaching for her weapon. 4 days without proper sleep had her hallucinating shadow movements at the edge of her vision. "Commander," Aria's voice cut through her fog, "I've isolated the unauthorized transmission." Attempting to decode, Maya staggered to the security station. "Source: confirmed origination from a hidden compartment in the Tyrashi scout vessel's cargo hold. On the monitor, Maya watched as a slender, silver-skinned figure emerged from what appeared to be a smuggling compartment built into the ship's bulkhead. Unlike the insectoid Tyrashi, this alien moved with fluid grace, six-fingered hands manipulating the ship's communication array with expert precision. "Elteri," Vextar hissed from behind her, his carapace bristling with what Maya interpreted as agitation or alarm. "You know this individual?" Maya asked, studying the silver-skinned alien. "Impossible to identify specific Elteri," Vextar replied. "But they are problematic. Technical specialists within the collective. Unreliable." "Commander," ARI interrupted, "the Elteri is requesting direct communication with you. Specifically you." Maya hesitated, glancing at Vextar, whose compound eyes had narrowed to slits. "Put it through, isolated channel." The Elteri's face appeared on screen. Delicate features, iridescent silver skin, and large, luminous eyes that seemed to shimmer with an internal light. "Commander Chen." The alien's voice was melodic, almost hypnotic. "I am Soren, and I need asylum." "You're with the collective," Maya replied coolly. "The 7 species were not united by choice," Soren responded, a mechanical device at his throat translating his native tongue. He pulled aside his silver robes to reveal a grotesque implant at the base of his skull, a biomechanical node with tendrils extending into his brain tissue. "The Tyrashi conquered us centuries ago, binding us to their hive mind. Some of us resist the connection." Behind Maya, Vextar made a sound like shattering glass, the Tyrashi equivalent of derision. "Do not trust Elteri lies, human. They are natural deceivers," Soren continued, ignoring the interruption. "I have monitored your efforts with the Prometheus protocol. I can help repair the sabotage. Elteri energy manipulation technology parallels your work." The station's proximity alert blared. The collective warships had increased speed. 5 days remaining, not 6. "I don't have time for your species rivalry," Maya cut in. "What exactly are you offering?" Soren held up a data crystal. "In exchange for protection from the collective, I offer this: algorithmic solutions that can bypass your saboteur's encryption." Maya studied the alien's face, searching for deception. The Elteri were known as the technological geniuses of the collective, responsible for many of the weapons that had devastated human worlds. "Why would you betray your own collective?" "Because it is not our collective," Soren replied, his melodic voice hardening. "It is a Tyrashi empire built on the subjugation of 6 other species. We were the first they conquered, and we will be the last to forget." Vextar lunged toward the screen, mandibles clacking furiously. "The Elteri seek to replace our rule with their own. They engineered rebellions on 3 worlds." "Is this true?" Maya asked Soren. The Elteri's luminous eyes narrowed. "We seek freedom, not dominance." Maya looked between the agitated Tyrashi commander and the enigmatic Elteri on screen, both claiming the other couldn't be trusted. With collective warships approaching and Prometheus still compromised, she faced an impossible choice. "I'll allow you aboard," she finally told Soren. "But you'll be contained, just like our Tyrashi guests." "Unwise," Vextar warned. "The Elteri cannot be trusted." Maya fixed him with a level stare. "And why should I trust you?" Vextar's compound eyes fixed on her. "Because unlike the Elteri, Tyrashi cannot lie. It is a biological impossibility for my species. Our neural pathways collapse under falsehood." He leaned closer. "The collective is fracturing from within, Commander. What happens here may determine which faction prevails." Maya looked from the insectoid warrior to the ethereal figure on the screen, both aliens claiming truth, both offering help with ulterior motives. "Dock at Airlock 3, she instructed Soren. "And come unarmed. One wrong move, and you'll join your Tyrashi colleagues in containment. If either of you betrays me, this station's reactor will overload, taking us all with it, Maya declared, standing between Vextar and Soren in the station's engineering bay. Dark circles rimmed her eyes, and a medical patch on her neck dispensed stimulants directly into her bloodstream. She'd made her decision, used them both. Vextar's mandibles clattered in what she now recognized as laughter. Your species has such dramatic survival instincts. Rich coming from conquerors, Soren murmured, six-fingered hands already dancing over the Prometheus control interface. The Eltari moved with unnerving grace, his silver skin reflecting the console lights like liquid mercury. 2 days had passed since Soren's arrival. The Eltari's algorithms had indeed bypassed some of Reeve's encryption, allowing Maya to restore approximately 60% of Prometheus's functionality. Whether this was a genuine breakthrough or merely a ploy to gain her trust remained unclear. The system requires live fire calibration, Soren announced, looking up from the console. Theoretical models are insufficient. Maya nodded grimly. I've already considered that. We'll use the Tairashi scout ship, low-power weapons only, targeted at the station's outer defense grid. Vextar bristled. You expect me to fire upon this station? Under my direct control, Maya clarified. I'd lock out all other ship functions. You'll only be able to target specific coordinates at preset power levels. The Tairashi commander regarded her with what might have been respect. You are either very clever or very foolish, human. Sometimes there's not much difference, Maya replied. The calibration tests began cautiously. Vextar, remotely piloting his scout ship from the engineering bay, fired precisely controlled energy bursts at designated points around the station's perimeter. Soren monitored the Prometheus field's response, while Maya analyzed the data streams for evidence of sabotage or deception from either alien. When the first energy pulse struck the station, Maya held her breath. The Prometheus field flickered, then stabilized, absorbing the blast. Data streamed across her monitors, successful conversion at 62% efficiency. Again, she ordered, higher intensity. As they worked, Maya studied her unlikely allies. Their hatred for each other was palpable, Soren flinching whenever Vextar moved suddenly. Vextar's compound eyes never leaving the Eltari. During a diagnostic cycle, Vextar approached Maya at the coffee dispenser. 7 species united has made the collective powerful, he admitted quietly. But each conquest brings diminishing returns and greater resistance. Some in the Tairashi High Command questioned attacking humanity at all. Then why did you? The Tairashi's armored carapace shifted in what might have been a shrug. Momentum. Conquering is what we do. And what do the Eltari do? Maya asked. They adapt. They infiltrate. They wait. Vextar's voice lowered. 600 years under Tairashi rule, and they still maintain their own agenda. On the final day before the warship's arrival, with energy conversion efficiency reaching 87%, Maya received another encrypted transmission from Admiral Takahashi. His face looked even more haggard than before. Your stand at Omega has inspired others, he reported. Resistance cells are forming on abandoned outposts throughout the sector. You've given them hope, Maya. His transmission ended with a warning. Trust no one completely, not even those who seem to share your goals. Maya glanced at her alien collaborators. She'd given them limited access to Prometheus, playing them against each other, but how long could she maintain control? As they prepared for the final calibration test, ARIA flagged an anomaly. Commander, I've detected unauthorized code modifications to Prometheus. Maya's heart sank as the system displayed the evidence. Both Soren and Vextar had inserted their own command sequences into Prometheus, each trying to seize control of the technology that could reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. Lock down all systems, Maya ordered, drawing her weapon. Now we find out what you two really want. You have exactly 5 seconds to explain yourselves before I space you both. Maya snarled, her weapon trained on the 2 aliens. Her finger trembled on the trigger, not from fear, but from the dangerous cocktail of stimulants and exhaustion. The station's systems showed the collective warships less than 20 hours away. To her surprise, neither alien attempted to deny their sabotage. Soren's luminous eyes narrowed. The Prometheus technology is too powerful to be controlled by any single species, he stated, his melodic voice unwavering. My faction seeks to share it among all collective races, breaking the Tyrashi dominance that has oppressed us for centuries. And we cannot allow that, Vextar hissed, his armored exoskeleton bristling. The Elturi would use it to overthrow the established order, leading to chaos across 17 star systems. Maya laughed, a harsh, broken sound. You're both so busy playing your power games that you didn't notice something. She pressed a command sequence, and the main screen displayed a tertiary system she had built with Araya, a hidden protocol that monitored and counteracted their modifications. I anticipated betrayal from the start. Prometheus remains under my control. Soren's silver skin flushed deep blue in what Maya recognized as embarrassment or anger. Vextar's mandibles clicked rapidly, their equivalent of cursing. You anticipated our actions, Soren noted, a hint of admiration in his voice. I anticipated anyone's actions, Maya corrected. I've spent my career studying how species behave when desperate. We're all predictable when survival is at stake. Before either could respond, the station's proximity sensors blared. Maya's heart sank, expecting the collective warships had arrived early. Instead, the reading showed a fourth vessel approaching, smaller, faster, and transmitting on an old human military frequency. Commander Chen, this is Captain Rivera of the Resistance vessel Defiant. The communication was scratchy, the woman's voice tense. We've been monitoring your situation. You're not alone anymore. Maya gripped the console, momentarily lightheaded. Captain, there are 3 collective warships en route. We know. Reinforcements are incoming, but you need to hold the collective fleet for 6 hours. Can Prometheus do that? Maya studied the readouts of the still unstable system, calculating power reserves and structural integrity. It's untested against multiple capital ships, but we'll find out. She turned to Vextar and Soren, both still processing their failure to control Prometheus. Your respective factions want this technology. I'm offering a deal. Help me defend this station for 6 hours. In return, I'll share Prometheus with both of you, equally. The aliens exchanged glances filled with centuries of racial hatred. Why would you share your most powerful weapon? Vextar demanded, suspicious. Maya activated the main viewer, showing the approaching collective warships, massive, city-sized vessels bristling with the weapons that had laid waste to Earth. Because Prometheus isn't a weapon, she replied, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her. It's a shield, and right now, all our species need protection more than they need another way to destroy each other. Soren's 6-fingered hand hovered over the console. The collective high command would never accept such an alliance. I'm not offering this to your high command, Maya said. I'm offering it to you. Both of you. Take it back to your people, all your people. Vextar studied her with his compound eyes. You would trust us after our betrayal. Trust has nothing to do with it, Maya answered grimly. But survival might require us all to rethink old enemies and alliances. She extended her hand. Help me defend this station, and Prometheus technology becomes a shared resource. That's my offer. After a long moment, both aliens reached toward her outstretched hand. Collective warships dropping out of FTL, Araya announced, its synthetic voice echoing through the command center. Multiple weapons signatures detected. Maya stood at the central console, Vextar and Soren flanking her. All 3 had gone without sleep for the final preparations, united by the imminent threat despite their mutual distrust. Fighters launching, Vextar warned, his compound eyes interpreting the tactical display faster than human vision could process. Standard assault formation. Maya took a deep breath and activated the Prometheus protocol, channeling power from all non-essential systems. The station hummed as energy coursed through hastily reconfigured circuits. The first salvos struck the station's outer perimeter, For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then the Prometheus field stabilized, absorbing and reconfiguring the incoming fire. The redirected energy cascaded back toward the collective vessels, disrupting their weapon systems. "It's working," Maya exclaimed, watching energy readings fluctuate across the displays. "For now," Soren cautioned, six-fingered hands dancing across the interface. The system wasn't designed to handle this much power. The Tyrashi commander pointed to a tactical readout. "They're changing approach vectors. Encirclement pattern." The next hour blurred into a desperate defense. The lead collective warship, identifying the energy redistribution pattern, switched to kinetic weapons, massive projectiles that Prometheus couldn't redirect. The station shuddered under impacts, structural integrity alarms blaring. 3 hours remaining until reinforcements, Araya reported. Station hull breaches in sections 7 through 12. Maya split her attention between maintaining Prometheus and coordinating emergency repairs. Vextar provided tactical insights on collective fleet movements, while Soren worked feverishly to optimize the energy field. At the 4-hour mark, disaster struck. The lead collective warship penetrated the defensive screen, forcibly docking with the station. Boarding parties poured in through the breached hull. "Prometheus is destabilizing," Soren warned, his silver skin pale with exhaustion. "The feedback loop is becoming uncontrollable." Maya watched the structural integrity readings plummet. Multiple sections were now breached, and the Prometheus field fluctuated dangerously. They wouldn't last another 2 hours. "You both need to go," she decided, turning to her unlikely allies. "Take the Tyrashi scout ship." "Why?" Vextar demanded. "You could use us to hold out longer." "Because someone needs to ensure both your factions get this technology," Maya answered, transferring secure copies of the Prometheus data to separate crystals. "Balance is the only way forward." After a moment of hesitation, both aliens accepted the crystals. The truth hung unspoken between them. The station was doomed, but the technology might yet survive. Alone in the failing command center, Maya received word from the Resistance fleet. "Commander, we're still 30 minutes out. Can you hold?" Maya looked at the tactical display, watching collective forces converge on her position. "Negative, Captain. But I can buy you time to regroup elsewhere." She initiated Prometheus's final configuration. The system was never designed as a weapon, but in its destabilized state, it could become one. A massive energy pulse would disable every ship in the vicinity, including the approaching human vessels. But it would create a window for the Resistance to escape. With the sounds of collective boarding parties breaking through the last barriers, Maya transmitted her logs and findings to both the human Resistance and to the departing Tyrashi scout ship. Her message was simple: no species can stand alone. Our strength lies in the choices we make when faced with extinction. The collective commander, a high-ranking Tyrashi elite, burst into the command center, flanked by warriors. His ornate carapace marked him as a fleet admiral. "You are defeated," he stated flatly. "Surrender now." Maya smiled, her hand hovering over the activation sequence. "That's the difference between us. You see an ending. I see a beginning." She activated the pulse. Across the sector, the story spread, of one human who stood defiant when abandoned by all, who turned enemies into reluctant allies, and who proved that sometimes the greatest victory isn't surviving, but changing the nature of the conflict itself. In the years that followed, as an uneasy alliance formed between the human Resistance and the reformist factions within the collective, many would trace its origins to Outpost Omega and Commander Maya Chen's final stand, where one human's defiance altered the course of galactic history.